Why do we sit here being silent, watching our leaders turn into tyrants? Have they forgotten which side they're fighting for? Checks and balances set aside and rule of laws, youth and ours, and Constitution openly ignored. Man, I'm not okay. Think we are being played. Is it time for right and left to join a greater cause? Man, I'm not okay. The rich claim to be victimized just to attack the marginalized. Is 1% really worth more than all the sick and poor? Always preaching about fellowship while planning their dictatorship. Now we've seen how all of this plays out before. Man, I'm not okay. Think we are being played. Time for you and I to join our country's call. Man, I'm not okay. Ever wonder all the mystery? Why they whitewash our history? Keep dividing is their plan. All in all, such a scam. Algorithm buried slide, only used to spread the lies. Politicians know well, hate is simple to upsell. Man, I'm not okay. Think we are being played. Time for you and I to join our country's call.
We are not okay. America is not okay, and we all know that. Former Congressman Joe Walsh, this is the social contract with Joe Walsh. Let's figure out how to get okay together.
Welcome to another episode. Just do Wakanda Forever, Joe.
Yes.
Oh, I already love the starts of this show. It's good to see everybody. Welcome to another episode of Welcome to the Party Pal with me, Mike Nellis, and former Tea Party Congressman Joe Walsh, where we used to check in on how Joe is doing as a Democrat. Now we just bitch and moan about whatever Trump is doing on any given day.
Yeah.
Of which there is a shit ton. We are going to talk about my appearance on Newsmax, which was literally 20 minutes ago, and I am pissed off.
I want to hear that.
Oh my God, it's fucking wild, man. We're going to talk about ICE. We're going to talk about Greenland. We're going to talk about Trump saying that there shouldn't be elections in the midterms, which was not a great quote in the Washington Post earlier today, if you haven't seen it. While we're getting started, do me a favor, if you're watching this on Substack, hit the heart button. Hit it frequently, hit it as often as you can. Anytime you say anything that you like, hit it, because it helps us move up the algorithm so more people see it and both of us grow. If you are not subscribed to one or both of us, subscribe to one or both of us. And if you're watching it on YouTube, like and subscribe to both of our channels. And everybody, it's so great to see you. I love doing this show. Joe, you're the fucking man. I know I've done most of the talking, but I was on Newsmax. They invited me on because they wanted to talk about the Somali scandal in Minnesota with Medicare and Medicaid fraud. And I was all prepared for that. And then Carolyn Levitt went live with her press conference, as she's wont to do. And Newsmax decided to make the whole thing about ICE. And they picked a wrong fucker to bring on Newsmax today, other than you, maybe.
Were you on alone or another?
No, it was me, John Bachman, and some woman named Brianna, who I don't know her. Now, I'm going to tell you this. She was perfectly capable of holding her own, Brianna, the woman that I was debating. But John Bachman could not, and I like John, to be clear. He could not stop defending her. Okay? Yeah. So I come in and I'm like, hey, they're kidnapping people on the streets. And they're like, no, Mike, they're not kidnapping people. They're just going after, they're targeting violent offenders. And then Brianna goes, I swear to God, Brianna is like, you know what? No, John, we're getting every illegal immigrant out of the country. We're going to remove every single one of them because if you're here, she went full Reich to me. I don't know how else to describe it. And I got in a great moment where I was like, listen, I just spoke to the viewer. Like, these two are like coming at me, and I basically just like, I gave up and I was like, I just talked to people watching. And I was like, I hope you just heard what happened, because every single problem in this country, they blame on immigrants. Prices are too high, immigrants. Housing, immigrants. Violence, immigrants. Everything, immigrants. You know why? Because they don't have a fucking solution to improve your life. And they came at me so hard, they laughed at me. They brought up this stupid story about, maybe we'll just talk about ICE now to get into it. But they brought up that the fucking, I want your take on this in a second, but the stupid story about the officer having internal bleeding damage after being rammed by the car by Renee Good, when we've all seen the fucking video. And also, if he had internal bleeding damage, they would have been blasting that out for the last 10 days after Renee Good was murdered. And they haven't. You know why? Because they made it up. And I'm sorry, I'm like the first person generally to try to believe the cops. And these fucking people think we're so stupid. I can't do it anymore. Kick it, Joe.
Mike, how did they both react to you?
Oh, they couldn't have been meaner. They were,
really?
I mean, they laughed at me. They acted like I was crazy. They told me that I was defending like rapists. I mean, it was probably the most insane right-wing TV hit I've ever done, where it was like, it's always 2-1, guys, to be clear. I do these all the time. You do them too, Joe. It's always 2-1. I know that. But usually the moderator will allow me to go after Brianna. And when they step in a lot, it's because the person can't do it. But Brianna could do it. So it was a true like 2-on-1. Let's fight and argue. And like I had lost my temper within 3 minutes. Within 3 minutes of it. And it's just, they're taking the veil off altogether. Somebody was just shouting out, Feelings Doc shouting out my sweatshirt. Thank you for that. I'm very proud of my Brett the Hitman Hart Japanese sweatshirt that my wife bought me for Christmas.
Michael, God, I'm going to get the clip of that.
This is going to be the most chaotic episode that we've had because I think you and I are both pissed. Just based on our text.
I want to watch that. I'm going to go back and watch that segment.
Okay.
I want to watch that segment. Look, here's the deal. Again, I talk to Trump supporters every fucking day. They love what ICE is doing, Mike. His base does, but that's it.
Right.
The rest of America is horrified by what's going on our streets. And you said that, I think you said that they always blame immigrants because they got no plan. That's always true too, but they always blame immigrants, brown and black immigrants. And brother, I was on that side. I did some of this as well, because their audience is older and white, and it's easy for them to go after brown and black people. It's their go-to. It's their ultimate go-to. I say that as someone who used to do it. And America is recoiling against what's happening on our streets right now.
Tracy just says it's pure evil. And she's absolutely right. Because what did they promise in the campaign? We're going to close the border, which I think makes sense. We're going to get rid of violent offenders, drug dealers, sex traffickers, all of that. Great, makes sense. But that isn't what they're fucking doing. And they can act in their right-wing media ecosystem bubbles like they're never going to face the voters again. But they're facing the voters in November. And they are facing maybe the angriest electorate that we have ever seen, certainly on the economy where everything is worse. But people are turning on ICE. 2 polls out this week, one from CNN, says that a majority of Americans feel like ICE makes our cities less safe. And then another poll showed that a majority of Americans believe that we should abolish ICE altogether, and Joe, I want to get your take on this and you can have mine after that. But like, do you know how hard it is to get a majority of Americans to be anti-law enforcement about anything? Like, that's a hard thing. Law enforcement and serving in the military is at the core of American culture. It's very hard to turn people against that. It's why defund the police is one of the worst initiatives that the left has ever taken on, because the way that they framed it was so anti-cop that it alienated everybody, even though most of the ideas are not inherently terrible. They're at least worth discussing.
The other number, my favorite political strategist, that jumped out at me was 86%. 86% of the American people, Mike, have seen these ICE videos.
Yep.
Again, this is your world more than mine, but when you get an issue to seep through to that much of America, that's like off the charts powerful. So that means regular people on a regular basis are seeing the cruelty and the lawlessness on our streets. This is no longer political. This is now cultural. And it goes, Mike, it goes to the heart of, right? What kind of a country do you want to be? Yeah. Nobody wants this to be, some people do. Most Americans don't want this to be the face of America.
No, look, I think people want smarter border control. They want a pathway to citizenship for most Americans. If you poll those things, they're very popular. That's what the vast majority of people want. And to a certain degree, it's the Democratic Party's fault that we're in this mess. Obviously, the Republicans are doing it, but by Democrats not acting and messaging correctly over the last 4 years or the last 5 years, we've created this situation. So we have to take responsibility for that.
Hey, by the way, do you disagree with me? My new political party, 7-month-old Democrat here, my new political party dropped the fucking ball on immigration. Plain and simple. I believe that.
Under Biden or in the last year?
under Biden, the first 3 years, just dropped the fucking ball. And it's a large reason why Trump got elected. And Trump has taken that ball and he's taken it to the dark, ugly, un-American place we're seeing now. And Michael, the pendulum's going to swing back because Democrats got beat up because they dropped the ball. Republicans will get beat up because they've taken the ball and taken it somewhere where no American wants to go.
Well, go back. I mean, like you hear a lot of conversations from people, particularly on the left, and of which I'm generally mostly a card-carrying member of the left. I'm probably a normie Dem, I think is how I would describe myself. But like under Obama, he had tough talk on the border, tough talk on people who are here illegally, wanted a pathway to citizenship for people who are here, wanted to take on business owners, especially big business owners who were abusing our immigration system, which, by the way, all the chaos we have in our immigration system is because corrupt billionaires wanted it that way so that they could get cheap labor into the United States. And that includes Donald J. Trump, by the way. He profited from that system and was fine with it until it was politically expeditious for him to be so anti-immigrant. And so Democrats have swung to the left on that, where you can't point out that, like, hey, it's probably not a good idea to have an unsafe and unsecure border. Like, border security is a fine thing, okay? Maybe we don't have to build a wall, but we can certainly make sure that people aren't crossing because it's a danger to us. I think that's fair. We have people in the country who are violent. We have people in the country who do the wrong thing, who are trafficking drugs and abusing, women and stuff like that. We should get them out of the country. We should get them out quickly. They should still have due process. Everybody deserves due process in America. And that's a common sense position. And so the Republicans were able to swing back because we were afraid of a segment of the left that was, by the way, well-intentioned, okay? Well-intentioned, trying to bring people into the light, trying to do it the right way. But like, we got to be smart about this stuff. Otherwise, we're going to get killed, or we got killed in the election. And now they're swinging all the other way. And this is Trump's problem. This is Trump's problem in almost everything. If he could understand why he won on the economy, on immigration, and trivia stuff, like the transgender issue and all stuff like that, and just be fucking normal, and just have normal policies in the middle, he can't do it. He can't do it.
Michael, you're asking Trump not to be Trump.
I know. The genius that is Trump is also like the fucking crazy guy. I just don't,
But the other thing that you and I have harped on this last week or two is this. Truth. Barack Obama deported way more people than Trump is deporting even right now.
Biden did too.
Biden did too. Not even close. The difference? Obama did it quietly. He followed the law and he focused on people here illegally who had violent criminal records and criminal records. Trump doesn't give a flying fuck who he's deporting. Trump's ignoring every law. And Trump is purposely putting a big spotlight on what ICE is doing because for Trump, Mike, it's all about the spectacle, the fear, and the cruelty. Remember, Mike, when Trump started these ICE raids last April, remember he had Dr. Phil embedded with ICE agents.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Trump thought these videos would be good for them politically. Fuck no.
Yeah. Do you remember? So you might not remember this, but when Dr. Phil was shooting those videos, he would bring on a Republican and a Democrat to respond to them. Do you know who the Democrat was? This guy. Yeah. So I've been on this train bitching about this stuff for a long time. By the way, Dr. Phil's TV network went under and declared bankruptcy. So I like to think I'm the curse of death for right-wing media. Two comments I want to shout out here. One is from a propaganda fellow, which says that the violent immigrants are 0.001%. I think that is absolutely true in its intent. I don't know the actual number, but I know that the people who are seriously breaking our laws and hurting people are a small fraction of the people who are here. And what's happened is the right-wing infrastructure, the right-wing media system amplifies everything. Every time a black or a brown person does something wrong and hurts somebody, they make it about every black and brown person. But when a white person shoots up a school, oh, he was just a good kid that went down a bad rabbit hole on the internet, and it's not reflective of all white people. And I think that's frankly fucked up. And I'm sick of that stuff. I was on News Nation last night, and Batya, who's one of their hosts, was on the panel with me. Yeah, don't get me started. I'll start foaming at the mouth. But she basically implied that every single illegal immigrant who was here is a pedophile. And I almost lost my line. The host had to step in and save me from, I think, wrecking her there because I was really mad. But like that shit keeps happening. And then Lois, I have one more comment to shout out, Joe, then I'll hand it back to you. Lois says, Trump killed a bipartisan bill. And that's right. At the beginning of 2024, there was a bipartisan bill to close the border to fix these issues. And Trump killed it because he thought it'd be good for him in the election. And he was right. And so this is his fault as much as anybody.
He did, but up until that, Bill, for the first 3 years, the floodgates opened. But Michael, I can say this. I'm a good Catholic boy. You're a good Catholic boy. But I come from the Republican Party. This needs to be said. White Christian nationalism is the most powerful animating force right now in my former political party.
Yep.
I don't think Trump gives a damn about any of this, but Stephen Miller, J.D. Vance, a number of these other guys, what this immigration thing is, let's call it what it is. They want a white Christian country again, and their design is to get brown and black folk out of here.
Yep.
I think there's no doubt about that. And that's a horrible thing to acknowledge. But in this age of Trump, Mike, people don't want to acknowledge a lot of horrible truths. Donald Trump, we'll get to it, came out and mused out loud today, maybe we shouldn't have elections. Donald Trump does not want the midterms to happen. That's just the truth. Just put it out there.
No, and we're going to talk about that in a second too. Like the person I debated earlier today, like pulled the veil off completely and started talking about defending our culture.
Yeah.
Mike, why don't you care about, defending America's heritage? You'd be like, well, first of all, I'm fucking Italian. So I'm pretty sure when you're done going after black and brown people, this shade of tan is the next thing to go. So like, of course I'm going to stand with other people who are immigrants. Like I'm only 3 generations away from coming off the boat. So like, this shit pisses me off because this is what they would have been talking this about us in the 20s, 30s, 40s, 50s, same shit, where we're greasy, dirty haired, eating. I found a New York Times clip from 1 million years ago about how Italian immigrants were eating their dogs and cats. Literally almost the same shit that Trump said about Springfield. And my mom told me a story about my great grandfather who was eating pigeons off the street because they had no food.
Hey, my favorite Democrat, you and I may disagree on this though.
Yes.
I kind of lost my shit on my show today because I'm talking about ICE, everything that's going on right now, Trump talking about invoking the Insurrection Act, and I yelled out loud, my Democrats, meet this fucking moment. For instance, Michael, if I were a governor right now in a state where these mass federal thugs were on our streets, I would immediately call up my National Guard to be out there protecting my constituents, my residents. If I were back in Congress right now as a Democrat, I would not fund 1 cent of the federal government until these masked thugs are off of our streets.
Yeah.
I think Democrats really got to kind of understand and be bolder with what they're doing here.
Yeah, I mean, I think they've got a moment to justify shutting down the government again, if they really want to. They got to have the stomach for it. That's the biggest thing. They got to have the stomach for it. And it's going to require enough Senate Democrats who will hold firm. And I don't know where the caucus is on that, but if somebody asked me my opinion, if I was in Congress right now, I'd shut it down. Because this chaos is being wrought by ICE agents who have had their budget 3x'd with zero accountability or transparency, with lies from the administration. And at a bare minimum, you got to claw back some of that money. You got to claw back some of that accountability. I don't think it's realistic to get them all off our streets. Like, I just don't think that's a fight that can be won, but like that should be the goal in the end.
But let me push my brother.
Please do.
My brother, Mike Nellis. I have no doubt that if you were in Congress, you would vote that way.
Yeah.
You're a political strategist and a consultant right now. Would you advise a member of Congress or a candidate for Congress to take that stance right now?
Yeah, well, it would. Okay, it would. Yes, I think the answer very broadly would be yes. But if you were in a district that was like R+4 and you're, running uphill and it's hard to get reelected, like I would tell you to do whatever's best for your district. I always tell people, it's that old line from House of Cards. I hate to quote House of Cards given what Kevin Spacey did, but it's like, vote your conscience, vote your district, don't surprise me. Like those are my 3 lines when I give a client. I think that's actually the best political advice in the show is like, vote how you feel in your heart, do the right thing. You got the power, do what you think is right, vote your district. Because I'd rather keep the seat. So like, if you're like Jared, like people rag on Jared Golden and he's retiring, but he represents an R+10 district that's going to be really hard for Democrats to hold without a guy like that. And he's to the right of us. He votes with us 80% of the time, but like, I need him to build a majority. So I don't run people out. So
Tim Walz, governor of Minnesota, went on TV again last night and just kind of talked about how bad things were and we might do this. And I'm just tired of a governor talking like that. Right now, that governor, his constituents are being shot at on his streets. No more talk, Tim Walz. call up your National Guard and put them out there. I just think Democrats need to be prepared for, because nothing's going to hold Trump back.
Well, the minute that he calls up the National Guard, Trump will federalize that National Guard, which maybe you just want to force that confrontation, get it back in the Supreme Court, because the Supreme Court's already ruled on this. So like, I think we would win that fight. But I don't know. Somebody just posted a couple times, invoke the 25th. These cabinet secretaries are not going to invoke the 25th because they're given free reign to run their departments and do whatever the hell they want. So Trump doesn't give a shit what the like Secretary of Labor is doing. He just wants to build a ballroom, and he wants to take, like, the reason I had somebody on my show this week, I forget who it was, but they were talking about, I just forget which guest it was. Not that I don't remember which guest I had. But who was talking about, like, a lot of the reason Trump does things is to build legacy for himself. He's like, I'm building the ballroom. Now it's the Trump ballroom. It'll always be the Trump ballroom. I'll bring in Greenland, and I'll always get Greenland because I'll be like James K. Polk and the rest of them who brought in all that land, or Thomas Jefferson with the Louisiana Purchase, stuff like that. And it was Thomas Jefferson with Louisiana Purchase.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
I have a minor in American history. I should really know this shit. But you know, that's what he wants. So he's chasing like glory, and meanwhile, people are at breadlines, and it's just fucked up. You know, and a damn UFC fight this year.
And by the way, Mike, so I'm getting called to the carpet a little bit, and so address this, because I get this. Like I said, call up the National Guard and don't fund the government until ICE is off the streets. And people are saying, well, Joe, then Trump will just invoke the Insurrection Act. We all know what Trump's plan is. Incite violence and unrest. That's what he's doing right now. He's inciting. Then he wants to invoke the Insurrection Act. Then he wants to declare a martial law, and then he wants to suspend the midterms. We all know that's his plan.
Right.
The question is, what do we do knowing that that's his plan? And I've got some ideas there, but Michael, what are yours?
I mean, it's a tough balancing act, right? And I think about it a lot, because if what they want is, I mean, look, they surged Minneapolis with 1,000 ICE officers. That was their response to the Renee Good murder. That's what it was.
Yeah.
It was not to calm things down, or like, God, you know, in a typical environment where you were running an operation like that, you might have gone, we're going to cool it for a week. We'll come back when everything's a little bit more settled. We're going to do an investigation. But like, they don't have that in them. Like, they're go. They double down on every bad, stupid fucking thing that they do. I think you've got to be careful, because if their plan is to like lay that framework down to eventually win a Supreme Court case that allows them to call the Insurrection Act and try to suspend elections, which, by the way, there's really no precedent in America for suspending elections. I don't really want to find one right now. The elections happened in World War I. They happened in World War II. They've happened through every major crisis. They happened during the pandemic. We're going to have a fucking election, guys. Are they going to meddle? Yeah, absolutely. And I think what I worry about less is Trump actually canceling the election. Like, I think he says that to scare people, which I actually, two thoughts. I'm sorry. I'm going to take a step back. I take everything Trump says seriously, because look at all the crazy shit that he has done that I thought he would never do. Like, I'm not going to get caught flat-footed, but I worry a lot more about a close election where he gets in the middle of it. I worry about like Mary Peltola in Alaska ekes out a victory in the ranked choice voting race, flipping a Senate seat for the Dems. Dem take the Senate, but then Trump orders them to take the voting machines to retabulate. They retabulate themselves, claim it was rigged. I worry about shit like that, because that's something they could conceivably do that I think would be in their best interest relative to not giving a fuck about democracy. So I worry about that more than I do canceling them.
Michael, I generally do too, but again, I just caution everybody, the man who tried to overthrow an election is fully capable of trying to suspend an election.
Yeah.
That's all I'm saying.
But he's capable of trying, but here's the thing.
Trying.
Look, I think about that there's a story, I don't know if it's true, about like China trying to come up with an invasion plan for the United States if it ever got to that point. And one of the things they determined was like, America has too many guns. Like, we would never be able to do that no matter how big our arsenal was. It's just, there's fucking guns everywhere. It's the one benefit of having that many guns. There's a lot of downsides, but like, you know, scaring the shit of China is like not bad. If Donald Trump decided to cancel the elections, the number of people with fucking muskets at his front door will be real. It'll be real. And to be honest with you, I may be one of them if we cancel elections. And if there's some conservative troll leaking that wants to grab that, I got no problem saying that publicly. Okay, because that's what it's going to be at the point that we don't have elections. So my viewpoint on this, just given my role in the ecosystem, is I am a Democratic strategist. My job is to win elections. At the moment that there aren't elections, I have a different job. And that will require a different, very particular set of skills. So.
Yes. And by the way, Michael, last on this one, So his goal is utter chaos to fuck with the election result.
Yes.
So unrest in certain states, military and ICE in blue cities and blue states, intimidating certain people from voting. His strategy is to throw 1,000 things against the wall to fuck with the election result. And then, oh, by the way, never accept it, which he said a couple days ago as well. That's part of their plan.
Well, he'll never accept the results regardless. Like, he'll blame it on local state officials. But I also think, and again, you try to figure out like which Trump are you dealing with, but like, because there's so many different versions of him. But I think he wants to just bitch and moan and make himself the victim of everything. So I think he'll lose the midterms. He'll accept the outcome largely. That's the most likely outcome. It doesn't mean that the other outcomes are unlikely or not going to happen. So I just
fair.
The phrase I did a live Q&A yesterday with everybody, and like the phrase is keep your head on a swivel. Okay, we're moving forward. We're doing the work. But you're looking over here and you're looking over here and you know what's behind you and you know what's ahead of you. Like, that's all you can really do, and find your way to be useful, which like you and I do, which is evidently bitching on the internet. So which we're pretty good at. I want to take just a quick break to say thank you. We have 2,500 people here in the middle of the day, Thursday. This is not our normal time for the show. We usually do Fridays. So it's pretty great, but I'll email this out tomorrow for folks who are seeing it tomorrow. But I want to thank everybody who's here. I want to remind you to please hit the heart button for us to move it up the algorithm. It makes a huge difference. I love seeing it in the corner. And actually, it might be my dopamine hit for the day before I watch Traders with my wife tonight. And then make sure you subscribe to Joe. Make sure that you support. Yeah, and I'll get there. But like, and make sure that you. I just heard them laugh over here. So like, group broke me for a minute. Make sure that you subscribe to Joe. Make sure that you become a paid subscriber to Joe to support his work. Joe has sacrificed so much in his life to be an outspoken advocate of the Trump administration. Like, people talk about Marjorie Taylor Greene and she gets a glowing fucking New York Times profile, but she's given up nothing. She gave up her seat, which was a politically expeditious thing to do. Joe's given up his whole career to do this. And like that matters a lot. And if you'd like to kick a few shekels to me, $8 a month, $80 a year to support the work we're doing at Endless Urgency, really to pay the two very smart individuals, young people down here who are helping me figure out how this fucking camera works, because I have no idea what I'm doing half the time.
Michael, can I say one more thing?
Of course.
The best
if it's trying to steal my staff, you can't.
No, hold on. Two things then. The best part of me giving up everything to do what I do is I got to meet you.
Oh, that's nice.
We are brothers. And the second best thing is whatever you're paying Nora, I'll pay her 5 times that. No.
I'm pretty sure she's listening over there because she's chuckling. That's funny. Let's get into our final topic though. Yeah. And once again, thank you to the 2,500 of you who are here. This is an awesome audience for a Wednesday. For Thursday. I don't even know what day it is.
You don't even know what day it is.
What years? Young boy, what day is it? It's Christmas, sir. Anyway, I want to talk about Greenland. And I want to talk about Greenland because this morning I woke up to the headline that Europe is putting troops in Greenland. So Germany, France, Denmark, a bunch of other countries, they have created a small force. France has committed military, air, and sea support to Greenland because the president of the United States is threatening to invade the country and take its land either by buying it or through other means. And I really don't know what to do with this because it is scary as hell.
You can have fun with this. I'll make 2 serious points.
Okay.
I do a lot of foreign media. I'm on the BBC all the time. And I have now been saying for a year, every time I'm on over there, we are not your friend. NATO, our European allies and free world, as long as this guy is in the White House, it pains me to say this, but America's your enemy. And our allies in NATO need to understand that. He's on Putin's side. He's not on Ukraine's side. We are NATO's enemy right now. And as an American, it pains me to say that. The other thing I'll say, Mike, is it's all about money with Trump. He invaded Venezuela because he wanted their oil. He will invade and try to take over Greenland because he wants their natural resources.
100%. Well, he's also following Vladimir Putin's playbook page by page, which is get as much money in your pocket as you can, get as much money in the pockets of your billionaire oligarchy friends, suppress as much opposition as you can. Now, the good news is Vladimir Putin had there was 100 years of Russian suppression. So it's a very different culture that they've had to deal with. We've been dealing with it for about a year. And we're, as a country, right old assholes who really hate tyranny. Like that's sort of built into our DNA. So we're a little bit lucky on that front, but it's that. And then it's what you got to do, expand your territory. So like, that's what he's doing. And Greenland to him looks like the softest target, and hard to argue, I guess, if that's your objective. But I think it's going to create a massive international incident. And like today, China was like, we'll come in and defend the Americans from taking Greenland. And I'm like, I don't even know. Cause like China's not the good guys. I just like don't know. I don't even know who the good guys are anymore. Besides Denmark. I've always liked Denmark.
By the way, my former colleague, Don Bacon, Republican from Nebraska, came out yesterday or today and said, if Trump invades Greenland, that will be the final straw with Republicans. He'll be impeached. Mike, he said, House Republicans will be really, really mad. Fuck that.
Oh, they're going to be mad? Oh,
yeah. Thank you.
Mad.
So bullshit. If he does something in Greenland, they'll all fall in line. Republicans have had 700 opportunities to impeach this guy, but they've always fallen in line. So don't tell me Greenland's the final straw.
No, listen, the Republican Party is not coming to save us. They're never going to save us. And if they were, you'd still be a member of it because you thought the fight was worth fighting. Like, there's one party in the United States that will stand up to this, and it's the Democratic Party, as imperfect as it is. And believe me, nobody pulls their hair out more over the Democratic Party than this guy. So at least try to.
Mike, that's a great thing you just said. That's why what you just said right there is why I became a Democrat.
Yeah.
And it's why by the way, you invented the greatest name, or was it your wife, to this podcast? Welcome to the party, pal.
This is mine. So I was watching Die Hard.
I knew.
Now, if we get sued for copyright infringement, I did not say that.
That's a riot.
I was watching Die Hard and I froze in my seat and was like, that's the name of the show. I got it. If there's one thing I'm good at, it's naming shit. Naming shit and writing fundraising emails. That's about it. I want to shout out Kevin in the comments for saying, calling me out for a second, like, this country has, been a country of oppression for many years. I agree with that. Obviously, you go through American history, there's all kinds of moments of oppression, from, what we did to the Native Americans to everything else. It's just indigenous people, so however you want to say that. I'm not woke. Woke is dead, so I could say whatever. I'm just kidding. But obviously, yes. But I think we're in a point where it's not that it's like worse, because America's done worse things. Like, arguably, you could always have that old discussion about dropping the nuclear bombs on Nagasaki and what was the other Hiroshima. But which is a whole ball of wax I don't want to get into right now, but it's a good conversation to have with people, because I think it's a fun debate at a party. I have unfun parties. But in this instance, like, look, our alliance with Europe won World War I and won World War II, defeated the Nazis, won the Cold War. Some pretty important shit. And we're breaking up that alliance and attacking a NATO ally. And that is really scary. And if we're living through a time where the world order is completely shifting like that, I don't know that that's in the best interest of most Americans.
No, but Michael, it's in the best interest of Putin as well.
100%. Listen, who has the most to gain by America attacking a NATO ally? It's Putin and it's China. Like, breaking up the Western order is what they have wanted for a long time. And the Western order is not perfect. There's plenty of gaps in it, plenty of atrocities that happen under it, but it's better than what existed before it. It's a lot like Obamacare. It's like, is Obamacare perfect? No, but it was better than, I think, what we have now. Although maybe you disagree, because you probably voted against Obamacare. Right?
I do, but no time now.
Now we gotta go. Now we gotta go. We start talking about Joe Walsh's record.
Loving you. I want to love you at the end.
I'm just giving you shit. Everybody, this has been an awesome episode. Joe Walsh, I love you to death. I won't look at your voting record if you promise not to look at my tweets at you when I was 18. But this has been a great show. We're almost to 3,000 people again, 2 in a row. It's awesome for me. Everybody, hit the heart button on the way out the door for us. Make sure you subscribe to Joe. Become a paid subscriber. Become a paid subscriber to me. All of my content's free, but it's $8 a month, $80 a year. Appreciate every single one of you. I'll see you guys later today at 4:00 Central when I'm with Jim Acosta. So see you guys.
Thank you, Michael.
Bye, Joe. Bye, everybody.
Thank you for listening. Remember to listen, follow, and share The Social Contract with Joe Walsh on Apple, Spotify. Plus, don't forget to subscribe to The Social Contract on Substack. This has been The Social Contract with Joe Walsh.